Previously on Smashed Tomatoes.
You need to go to the realm of darkness to play the Mii games that no one else bothered with.
Wow, you're way easier to understand during flashbacks, so what the heck?
Now.
Huh. So this is the realm of darkness. Well, I already hit that sushi place I mentioned last episode, so I think it's about time I start working. Let's see, where are you even, guys? I don't know what the camera is. Ah, there you are. So, realm of darkness. Hi, hello, I'm here in it, and also I'm here lost in it. Turns out I may have thought about my outfit too much and not enough about bringing a map. So I think finding all of these Mii games is going to be a nightmare. Like, of course, when I say obscure, I don't just mean that they aren't popular or don't have enough content to deserve a video on their own. But rather, I mean that most of these games are difficult to come by. Whether it's because they are Japanese exclusive, require defunct peripherals, or are hard to capture by the average creator here at YouTube. Since the Miis were a mascot to Nintendo during 2006 to 2015, they have found themselves in a plethora of games, so they are absolutely necessary for the game to be replayed. And those are the very games we are looking at today. These are those obscure Mii games. I invite you to join me in this journey to find the Mii games that no one has played. If I could only find them, where the heck am I? Alright, I have this cool vision mic that could help, huh? Wow, how convenient. No. Ah! It's cold here. And that's just the highest floor of the realm? Really? Is that a penguin? Huh. It dropped something. Let's see here. Penguin Seikatsu. Huh? This must be the first game. Snowpack Park. I'm gonna start with this one because you've seen it in prior videos just sitting in my menu home screen and it's not much of a surprise. At the same time, I really do doubt anyone actually knew what it was. Alright, let's give it a shot and... Oh. Okay, so it turns out you cannot play Japanese games on your non-Japanese Wii. So I decided to go on eBay and... You fool. You really think I have the budget for that? You're funny. No, I just put this through a backend custom firmware that allows me to do that, and here it is. Ta-da! Penguin Park, a Japanese exclusive WiiWare game that wait. It's not Japanese exclusive? So, I just went to all that trouble for nothing? Essentially, I'm trying to say that this game is extremely rare, as are many of the games you'll see here. I barely even figured out this one was available in English, and that was well after I thought of making this video. There were some positives to playing it in Japanese, such as this beautiful translation work, and I officially learned that BFFFFFFFFF means switch your goddamn Wiimote batteries, you idiot. So, allow me to switch over to the English copy. This one crushes too much anyways. And there we are, much better, except heights, because now it tells me in feet and that is a very stinky poo-poo. Snowpack Park is a game about taking care of penguins and collecting them in your ranch through the different means, all of which involve getting them to like you. You can pet them, hold them, grab them, and even feed them as you do various activities with your penguin companions. I found myself enjoying penguins more since that one time I became one. And honestly, it's not really a deep game. While it has some surprising moments with aliens, and you can do some cool things by giving your penguins hats, the gameplay loop isn't very fun. I guess the game is repetitive, which is fine, but it is also slow, which makes the repetitiveness tedious. That's not to say it's not a relaxing experience, but it really could be much more than that. It's cute, again, relaxing for sure, and there's plenty of funny moments to be had as you do various activities. On that note, this is Sam, one of the least famous Nintendo characters ever. He's a talking cylinder penguin and I kinda really like him. So yeah, y'all artists need to get down to making some fan art of this guy because you can't even find him on Google and that has to change already. So the environments in this game range from snowy to snowy, another issue I guess I can see with the game. You'll be finding yourself lost often because of the lack of interesting landmarks that help you to traverse the world. But other than that, I think any penguin fan will enjoy this game, as well as anyone who wants a relaxing game that they can play for the next few hours. Then again, maybe there's a few failures with the concept because there's a few mechanics that don't go along with it. Like for example, penguins can escape the park, and if the game's trying to be relaxing, then this is literally the one thing that's gonna make you nervous of neglecting one of the 100 penguins and having them leave. I feel like that just makes the penguins annoying and you end up not liking them very much. Even if they added mechanics so you can check the weight, height, gender, and name of a penguin to push the process along. To be fair, it's not the best solution to an issue that goes against the very design of the game. I feel like penguins should just be unable to escape, no nervousness, and you get to kind of have more sense of progression with the game. That is, of course, if you can find the game first. Because it is WiiWare and because the Wii shop is closed, you'll probably have to rely on some shady means to get yourself a version of these games, so you should keep that in mind as we go further down this path of obscure games. I had to come to the realm of darkness for this, and I think it was worth it, but please be aware of viruses and other harmful programs when attempting to find the games featured in this video without eldritch means. I now have myself the most high quality footage of this game in Japanese that has ever graced the internet, and it is useless to me. Ah, finally! At least these rooms look a little bit warm, though this felt somewhat familiar. Ooh, and it smells like soup, let's go! Oh, this is going to be awesome, this is going to be oh. It's you. Wait, what is Miitomo even doing in the rod? Oh, that's an unfortunate acronym. Miitomo is a social media mobile application that borrows its main concept from Tomodachi Life. It does not count as a sequel for the sake of another video in this channel and because Nintendo is, as usual, very bad at figuring out what the modern world is like. This service went defunct in 2018. So how am I playing it 4 years later? Well, I managed to infiltrate the secret Nintendo Fortress of Darkness to access a backup server powered by the money and pain of fans, so yeah, basically they made their own server called Kaerutomo. It's a relatively easy patch on Android, and I use it constantly to get Mii-related assets for my videos here. So, how is Miitomo? Why is the answer to the first question bad, and how could it have avoided that fate? So, Miitomo is a strange little game because it's half an annoying gacha application and half an underwhelming social media platform. It has honestly a lot of cool features, but it's brought down by being naturally over-monetized. You can customize your Miis a lot better than you can in Tomodachi Life, with custom outfits and rooms that seem way more personalizable. However, getting these items is tricky because it needs you to either go to an expensive shop which re-rolls its selection every day or play an unreliable pile-dropping game. Yeah, Nintendo sure dropped the ball with this one, but Kaerutomo does solve this by unlocking everything and giving you a lot of money to start, but that comes with a separate problem where everything becomes too repetitive quickly and you lose incentive to play the game. It wasn't designed to be this way, so things lacking become really clear. Why is there no bunny ears? This triggers me for obvious reasons, so they made an inconvenient mechanic that can't be made convenient without breaking the game loop. That should speak mountains about the designers who made this game, huh? The other half of this consists of interacting with Miis, where you can set greetings for them, pet them, or visit your friends, who will ask questions for you to answer and for all of your other friends to see. Full disclosure, Kaerutomo hasn't been patched on a stable version since like 2 years ago, so there's a lot of bugs while saving settings and other social aspects of the game like greetings and answers. You can use it to get a taste of what the game was like, but you won't really experience it properly. Too many features don't function or have been modified. And finally, there's the Mii photo function, which is honestly super fun. It lets you make all kinds of pictures involving your Miis, who you can set up for the perfect picture and save for yourself or append for your friends to see. You can even use custom backgrounds and different stickers. Actually, you can also send outfits, but I never got to experiment with this feature very much myself, so I can speak of it fairly. I used it once and I can't remember much. Then the server shut down and Kaerutomo hasn't brought it back. Mii photo is by far the best part of Miitomo though. It allowed for some amazing creation which the community still shares to this day. I wish Nintendo would bring back this specific feature. But really, it's a massive shame that this game came out as it did, because Nintendo took the Facebook approach when making it, meaning friend requests had to be mutual and personal, and that removed a lot of the charm of social media. I've always wondered if Miitomo would have been a hit if it was more like Twitter. I imagine celebrities and YouTubers creating cool Miis to represent themselves and answering questions for everyone to see, which would have been way more engaging. You could have made users feel like they are personal friends with their favorite actor when visiting them, and it could have been a unique social media platform where users can expressively show their personality. Just take a moment to think you could have gone to Toby Fox's house and find his thoughts about a random topic. That could have been awesome and it would have avoided needing referrals that limited the user base so aggressively. Oh, another negative, it drains battery like a vampire dreams plotting the terminally ill ward. Ultimately, Miitomo is more about what it could have been than what it actually was. I hope to this day Nintendo didn't can Tomodachi 3 over this game's performance. A shame, but oh well. I've been sitting in this crusty darkness chair for a while and my ass is starting to hurt. Whoa, wait! So something's pulling me down. The radio says, oh, J-pop? J-pop? AKB48 plus me. You've ever wanted to become an idol? Because now you can, just don't know any Japanese yet. AKB48 plus me is a 3DS game exclusive to Japan where you can get to become a member of the idol band called AK47. The problem is that you can't play this without any male me, so meet Nat? It's me but gender bent, I guess? Don't focus much on this, but I appreciate the fan art. And so I went to an AK-47 concert and chose to spend the rest of my life doing the exact same dance move so I can get in the band and conquer it from the inside. This game is just not made for the audience that is I. First off, it's a visual novel, so I couldn't understand 80% of it and I had to rely on Google Translate, which still tells me to go into one of the producer's rooms to try it? And I'm not sure I'm comfortable with this level of realism. And the general gameplay loop is super boring because I can't fangirl over any of these 48 ladies because I have no absolute clue who any of them are. Half of the game is very basic resource management, the other half is reading, and a small part is some script also like rhythm game. In the resource management portion, you just choose what you want to do for the week and then you see your Mii do those repetitive tasks with occasional interruptions for lower run plot where different characters show up to speak with you, and even more occasional interruptions for minigames which are kinda painful because I can't believe I'm a programmer this bad at math. Then the rhythm game? It's pathetic. It's a bunch of rhythmical taps and drags, with what I think is a difficulty chooser beforehand, but again, I don't know Japanese besides Wii FFFFFF and Kodoku shit kudasai. Wait, Wii FFFFF can also mean connected nunchuck? What? What am I fighting for? As an awesome mapper who almost managed to get a map reviewed once, I feel so much of this is unintuitive and boring. The fact that these prompts are just on the top screen and yet the interaction is on the bottom screen really makes this anything but satisfying. Plus, they only know 2 songs. That shit's gotta change. There's one song that every Japanese idol band should play, so I made it my quest to work tirelessly, get to A rank in the band just so I could look at Reno in the eye and say, "It's my turn now, bitch." I'm the red hair here. I stand out, which means I get to make the hard choices here. And I know just the song to sing. Yeah! Yes, no halation, motherfucker! Whoa, that was crazy. I can't believe the producers did. Oh, I'm back to my regular self. I really went to an arcade instead of pachinko, huh? Surely, I am not Japanese. Nintendo Badge Arcade. So this game, I played it, but let's just say this is the quality of my footage. Fantastic, it's beautiful, look at it. Is this even entirely a Mii game? I mean, the only animated characters to show up are indeed your console's Miis as well as the bunny, but for the most part there doesn't seem to be any mechanics where the Miis are involved. I guess it did work as the player avatars for Miiverse, but that's hardly either a game or part of this game. Yes, indeed, I went through 7 hours of trouble to set up a capture system that's almost entirely useless for the sake of this game, and I assure you, there's a really good reason for that. For starters, it lets you customize your menu screen with a lot more detail, with custom icons and buttons to spice up your crappy white theme or your cool theme if you bought one or the illegal.
Say, fella.
This is a game that will eventually go defunct, but while it's available, it does its use, and they got pretty lax with the game by letting you have 2 free plays every day now, so, you know, you can get it right now on your own DS. Don't care? Good, because you can now mod the living daylight out of Badge Arcade to get custom badges that include every object in Minecraft, and who knows what else. But the real reason why I covered this is actually way more straightforward. I love Arcade Bunny. He's so funny and animated with the grace of a god. Suddenly turns into a lady, suddenly turns into a JoJo. My dude is literally like my long-lost brother who I get drunk with every other Sunday night. And I'm not even trying to be comedic. I truly do love this guy so much I dedicated a whole segment to him. Yes, I know I mentioned Sam a bit ago and how much I liked him, and yes, I did write Nabbit as my favorite Nintendo character back in the Miitomo section, but that's just because Arcade Bunny is on another level and I consider him way more than a character. Man, dude is a ray of light. What a positively fantastic character. I can't even get angry after the 9th time he prompts me to buy plays. It's like he's only doing his job and hates charging you. But isn't Badge Arcade Bunny a shitty name? That's it, I'm making up a fake name right here and now, and I'll use it in the future to refer to him, and anybody who doesn't watch this video is going to be like, wait, who? But we'll know. Now let's see. He strikes me as something of Ephraim, the mentally handicapped rabbit, courtesy of Hothead 1987 on GameFAQs 7 years ago. Angelina Anaconda of Costa Rican with guacamole, asphalt in my shoots help on drawing. 4 little soldiers went on the sea at Red Herring Solid, one and the other were 3. Yes, su manga daoid, wait, a su mecha no sabe que puede hablar japonés. The other Anaconda don't, not unless you got buns, huh? Get it? Because there's a bunny, arcade bunny, ABCD. Yakuman said, Risotto 23, you got so much diarrhea, your poop looks like a Jackson Pollock painting.com, amen. Hereby to be called just Ephraim. I live in constant fear of wanting to search Ephraim fan art knowing that there will be things I don't want to see there. Did I just really dedicate a third of this segment to a single or gag? Ephraim, how the heck did we end up in a Wagon to Ranch? Oh crud, so that's where Damien from Pokemon went. Oh, we're going to Pokemon! But there's no Score Bunny. What's the point of Pokemon without Score Bunny? My Pokémon Ranch is a WiiWare game that links to Pokémon Diamond and Pearl under the sound of my tears because I just couldn't make it work. So it's a game where Hylie from Pokémon becomes a Mii, bites you and a few of your own Mii friends, and you all take care of a farm which gets 1 or 2 new Pokémon every day. And then you just look at them. There is no gameplay. It's a looking at game. a stamp collection. It's a Pokemon box, which like kind of the purpose of the thing, you know? Like, yes, they could have just gone with sprites, but adding a whole new interactive element really made it a little bit interesting. And just because it's Pokemon, it works. It makes me angry that we are this easy to convince, but fucking hell, the Nintendo hit the 100 with Pokemon. Sure, it's only 2 to 7 minutes every day, but just messing around and seeing your Miis do a bunch of playing and wandering with the Pokemon is great. Plus, all the AI seem to interact with each other really consistently, making everything feel dynamic, and there's occasional events that are somewhat comedic which randomly occur, though I only got to see a few of them myself. You can shake your controller to mess around with the world, and it's generally a good wallpaper to have in the background, though not being able to look around manually is a design decision that I just don't understand. You can also move the Pokemon like it's a Mii Plaza, but it just takes like 14 days to unlock, which I very much don't have. More to it, this originally came out with a price tag, which I don't really think this deserves to be priced unless you have your own copy of Diamond and Pearl. If you do, you can make use of the tips and special Pokemon Isla gives you in there. She guides you to catch Pokemon in Diamond and Pearl, and sayonara, I don't know anything else. So I heard people really like this Pokemon box game simply because you can get a Mew for free for you to use and transfer if you do manage to bring 999 Pokemon to the ranch. So that's pretty nifty, it just takes 3 years.
Can I offer you a nice egg in this trying time? Yeah, he's got an egg, you might...
Whoa! 3 years have passed and we have a new game to talk about, which also explains the sudden location change. Thankfully, you don't age in the realm of darkness. Now let's see, what is this game? Woo! I think I can introduce this with a song. Pokemon, now it's time to work with the Brigadier Rock Rumble. So this game is probably an insult to Pokemon fans. You've been warned. Basically, the king of a kingdom is really angry at a magician for having many Pokemon, so he sets your Mii to gather Pokemon, but you're completely useless, so you just force your Pokemon to do the job for you. Like, I don't know what wires got crossed here, but they put Pokemon, which are wind-up toys, in a medieval city. Like they grabbed something that had nothing to do with Pokemon and shoved Pokemon in there. And thankfully, that's about the biggest mistake this game makes. Sure, it seems like the timed events used to be a big deal, but I just got infinite diamonds and managed to enjoy the game well enough. It's an entry in the Pokemon Rumble series, which can be described as a really speedy version of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Kinda simple, and the dungeon crawling could do with having more elements, but for the general part, it's alright. I can't wait for the balloons to inflate for a few hours, it kinda helps the gameplay loop. Really though, I wish I had more moves, or some sort of dodge. Maybe having some chests in the map or other things which could be laying around. I know collecting Pokemon is already fun intrinsically and by itself, but if it wasn't for that, which perfectly could be due to the game theme mismatch, I don't think this game could stand. The variety of environments and interactions with your Mii are fun at last, and I think that this would make for a great mobile game. I'd certainly play more of it on my 3DS because the PlayStation is so short, fun, and satisfying. So you can take it out and play in the toilet, and yeah, I got a problem with gaming. I did see that this was a sequel to a Wii game which looks way more interesting, so take that as you may. Note that that game did not have Miis, hence why it's not here. Honestly, I wish the Mii had more interactions. The ones that are here are kinda boring. Sure, they bring a charm, but they result in making everything feel like a Street Pass Plaza game. Heck, I think the play coins could make a better currency than the diamonds here. There are just tons of area for improvements with this game, but I mean, by concept, there is no reason for them to do them. Okay, so I've gone to the future, to the call, to J-pop hell, and to Pokemon. Honestly, this doesn't feel like the realm of darkness. It just feels like winter in Japan or something, I don't know. But the master is telling me to go to this way, which is like super bright, properly lit place. Where is it even taking me? Did I start with the worst or what? Let's see, what is this place? It's, oh, no, scratch what I just said. But please, I made a mistake. This is Game Show Darkness. Cheap Game Show Darkness. DB Show King 1 and 2. This is a quiz show game, one that I'm unsure whether or not is particularly good. I mean, you can see the licensed Wii game crossed on it, what with some of the animations in the game and a few very weird things about it, but I think it's a game you could open with the basic expectations only to find them being met. I certainly had some fun with it, but it was exactly what I expected from looking at some footage of the game and the name. I particularly hate how the second game has features for submitting questions, which are only available through online. They have this really cool system, and I wish I could use it locally to actually ask my friends whether or not Planaba. Instead, at the lack of Wii Connect 24, the second entry has nothing to show me but a better animated DJ. Everything else isn't particularly better. Like, for example, in the second game, they completely removed the custom Miis, which kind of soured the experience for me. I kind of liked the first one because I could make jokes about the NPC characters being my Miis. Yes, there are some bugs, plus some questions don't entirely quite work anymore because this came out 10 years ago, but for the rest, I don't have much to say. The gimmick rounds managed to make the quizzing more interesting. I just wish the wheel had more interactions and outcomes which you could use to mess around with your friends or play different strategies. Heck, maybe a whole entire mechanic based on messing around with your friends should be a pretty big priority for games like this.
This is when Nick devised a plan. A plan to escape the cheap TV game show darkness. First, he would remember the existence of a game by the title of Wii Karaoke U, a game that was free on the Wii U eShop but went defunct with the surveys in 2017, as you needed to purchase the music you karaoke to from a server hosted alongside it. The game was connected to an online server that would constantly check if the player had the proper licenses, so ultimately, it's impossible to play nowadays, despite having a port on the Switch, which sadly does not include the Mii-related content. Second, it sang a song. You'd have to buy the songs anyways, which would put this channel's budget on the purple numbers. What's that, you ask? Red numbers. But more. Please subscribe or broke. In the game, you could see your Mii play some stage performances, which are kind of funny. A lot of content online from this game is actually in Spanish, which gave Nate an edge in hiding his intent from the entire TV Show King staff. As he proceeded, he noticed the game had a character dresser and quite a nice and extensive selection of songs to sing. Third, he avoided learning too much about the Wii predecessor with Mii support, though only tacked on to these creepy bodies. He already realized that the U version of this game existed halfway into the production of the video, so he didn't have time for the other shit. Fourth, he tried to sneak out of the studio, but he was dummy thick, and the clap of his ass cheeks kept alerting the guards. So he resorted to the fifth, emergency step. He proceeded to sing the entirety of The Gates of Delirium by Yes on national television, pulling what was described as a crude cosplay of Freddie Mercury's mom being played by a very drunk Johnny Depp. And yes, he sung both the lyrics and the guitar. It was embarrassing, but as he celebrated before being kicked out, he learned the terrible truth. There was another.
That worked. Singing copyrighted music does get the cameras away from you. That's awesome. Now I can... Just another Japanese camera? I will have to play this one too, aren't I? NHK Red and White Quiz. This is the Japanese name, and I've said harder things in this channel before, but I just don't feel like doing it today, you know? So how about a quiz show, but it's in Japanese? Most of the questions are free answer. This was painful to play as a non-Japanese speaker. NHK Quiz is a Wii game based on, get this, a TV network. Though it shares namesake with a yearly Japanese event commonly known as Hohaku, where two teams of performers duke it out with music to celebrate New Year's. In this event, the audience gets to vote for either of the two teams based on how much they like their performance, and the teams are formatted red and white. Hence the name. It has ran since 1959 and it airs on the NHK Japanese network, so naturally they made a quiz show game. I'm still unsure if they actually do have one and I just don't know it, in which case please do tell me in the comments. But it's a standard game show game like the last we played. A few minigames, some charming Miis and animations, and apparently full voice acting. That's right, this game features full voice acting for every line the announcers speak, which explains the massive file size. It's only 2 GB smaller than Smash Bros. Brawl. It's not very interesting unto itself, but it does have a few interesting things in it with its style. I think were I to know Japanese, I could have even enjoyed the main game mode. There are some extra game modes, such as this educational one where they explain the molecular composition of sponge cake. What? And another one where you have to guess these funny mimics where your Mii's faces are put on them. It seems insanely thorough with its explanations, which I wonder if they do in Japan. I've never seen a Western show get this technical, and I should know. I watched Miel Nye the Science Guy. For the record, I did not get a single point in the entire game. Kinda disappointed that you can't play against other Miis and are forced to play against whatever these creepy avatars are, but at this point the Miis are barely even in the games we're covering anymore.
Suck my dick!
See, that wasn't so hard. Games of Darkness, it's over and nothing can top it. Why do I hear running?
Hey, come back with my car, you fiend! Okay, so turns out there might be a game that fits perfectly with this situation, so
Pikmin Bloom, a mobile application where you can walk your Pikmin and it's cute and you can put them in the scene if you got an AR camera and it's amazing to see, but to play that's a whole different story. This game sucks. And not just because it makes me move my noodle legs. No, actually this is a complaint of how this game keeps trying to dox me so I can't show you half of the screen for half of my goddamn footage. I recorded like 40 minutes away from my home, but still. It's a walking game, like the one everybody else made when Pokemon Go did good, so they assumed it was because of that strong mechanics and the edge-cutting innovation seen in that one instead of just luck, nostalgia, and sheer exposure by popularity. And you just happen to play as your Mii on an outfit that honestly doesn't fit Mii's at all. I repeat, it's cute, probably a good motivator to go out walking, but at the same time, it's so redundant. Having one of every Pokemon is way more rewarding than having one of every possible flower on a Pikmin's head. You'll have so many Pikmin that all look similar, so you'll really never grow attached to any part of the game. You're not collecting Pikmin, you're collecting a number on the back of your character and that's it. I guess I do like the occasional custom Pikmin like Fry Pikmin and Coffee Pikmin. Who knows, maybe I'd even be a massive fan of this game if Pikmin didn't give me crippling anxiety. But for now, I'd rather remove this from my phone. Just running this for 7 minutes but to 20% of my battery power. It's terribly optimized. They got too comfortable now that the average phone can handle more and left a game that's not very much battery friendly. If Miitomo draws battery like it does, this one draws battery like a chupacabra that's stuck in a boat with 732 goats. Talking about 732, that's about as many kilometers as I must walk for the second game here. Okay, I just remember that the clown card has like a telekinesis weapon, so maybe I should use that. Whoa, that worked! Okay, now to actually find the card. Okay, so how about this? Personal trainer walking. The same, more boring, and you need a peripheral to use it. So that's why I got no footage of it. Wait, no, I do have some. Behold, the title screen! Whatever, this game honestly radiates retro because it's old. Old enough to have these kind of graphs. What do you even call this aesthetic? Pre-recession Japan? So it gives you charts about your movement along with a few minigames and other cute visual things. It appears like you can feature several avatars per game save and use multiple activity meters too. And you can even compete against your household and set up goals for yourself. You play as your Mii, which you can bring from your Wii or make in-game with the Tomodachi Collection Mii Creator. There's a mode where your Mii walks along the world while drawing under their feet to make cool images. Plus, you can also take on walking challenges such as walking to the moon. And you can bring your dog because you can actually register a dog in this game. Beautiful. That's right, you only need like 470 million steps to walk to the moon, so pack your bags and let's go. Actually, only you. I'm confined to this video box and I'm starting to get claustrophobic. Hey, look, my clown card. I finally found it once more. Come here, baby. I'm gonna do so many things with... Shouldn't I be falling by now? Wait. Believe it or not, I am walking on earth. I never thought that I could be so free. Hold on. This game does not belong in the realm of darkness. It belongs in the realm of light. But not because it was good, just because it's genuinely doing everything it set out to do with only one major critical mistake. That said, it's because it's just a tech demo Nintendo priced at $6 for some reason. Aquaspace is a WiiWare title for the Wii hardware, that allows you to have an aquarium and get lost in it and never come back. Bad ending, Luffy died. It's a relaxing little immersive viewer that lets you see fish in a simulated aquarium, and you can see them swim, customize your aquarium, feed them fish, and even dive in with your own Mii to experience the sea life up close while you catch up on some trivia. And that's the game. Yeah. See, if it was freeware, I'd understand it, but the price tag led me to believe there was more to this game. Mechanically, you don't have free control of your Mii, the camera is slow and clunky at times, but the big issue is the lack of any gameplay whatsoever. Thousands of aquarium simulators try to make taking care of the fish both fun and relaxing, with some challenge to boot at times. I don't mean to say this game is too easy noob get good, I mean to say this game is not like a game. It's a screensaver. And that's the major critical mistake, by the way. If this is a relaxing screensaver to keep in the background, why does it dim when my controller turns off from being idle? My Pokémon Ranch does not dim until you've been idle for about 30 minutes, so I know it's possible to remove the dimming immediately. It's like the game when unplaytested and never reached its actual consumer. So yeah, it's super relaxing, does everything it should do, making cool aquariums and teaching about them, but there's just some inexcusable things here that, while not making the game better, they at least would make it more interesting. I like swimming with the Mii and the feeling like a fish, you know. Am I a fish? You know, it's just a sea bunny floating around. Nope, I'm human. Mostly. 97%. How am I breathing underwater? Is it mermaids? I've always wanted to be a mermaid. Sexy siren, here I come! Ah, it's beautiful. Kuruma De DS. Haha, look, car farting. So here's a quick change of pace. Because this game I can't play, but it's not because of region shenanigans or because it's no longer available, but rather because I'm too poor to afford a card to play it with. Kuruma De DS is the functionware for the DS intended to be a companion to Toyota GPS driving. It is by far one of the most elusive and rare DS games, and though it's not ever had the status of lost media like similar games such as McDonald's eSmart, there's not a single actual gameplay of this game recorded on a capture card, even if you can get a copy for about $5. And that's because this game is not functional without a 2010 GPS system called Eclipse ABNC bunch of letters. Kuruma De DS would come with the vehicle, and you could be connected to it via Bluetooth to add on to the being lost and using an unreliable GPS experience. It seems like the game lets you add family members to the car, and you can then play different quiz minigames together. Then you can score as you drive as if it was a quiz show. This game was accompanied with Tomodachi Collection text-to-speech service too, so you actually do hear your Mii speech, such as... But honestly, no one knows much about this game. The footage that is available only covers the most big aspects of the gameplay, and there's not much information about what features the game actually has. The manual has this screen, which I haven't been able to find in-game, and there's this sort of souvenir shop where you can change in-game points for souvenirs, but I don't know what the souvenirs themselves do. The quizzes are told by a set of traditionally dressed Miis, some of which there is no footage of, like this lady here who shows up in both the manual and the box art. Ah, finally, here it is, my clown card. So I did some research. Miis here are super used, and yet I had to look for 3 whole ass days to find this singular manual screenshot showing that it indeed has a Mii editor in it, and it's green. Further along, I found the game's official site through Wayback Machine with a proper HD picture of this editor, so you can see it in full detail. This site has a privatized video, and that kinda sucks. This is an unprecedented discovery for this game that is just being revealed to the internet in this video. I thought originally that you just choose from a set of pre-made Miis, since I clearly heard the text-to-speech program mention Otosan Tokachan consistently, which means mom and dad. And I found this one screenshot showing a character that I've seen several times before in other screenshots. But then I got curious because I found this screen of the character selector, and it has a prompt here about creator, which is completely empty below. It took until I found an obscure Japanese website that mentioned making the driver Miis that I set myself on this journey to find the most basic info on this game. And trust me, I would cover it in full where Smash Tomatoes have enough funds to afford a goddamn old car and try this. So I'm leaving it to the crazy game preservationist. Please, if you're making a video about Kuruma De DS or just searching the game for documentation, DM me on Twitter and keep me posted. I want to know more about this game and I'd love to have a close look at the different discoveries you all can make about this game in real time. Honestly, finding the official site gave me a good picture for it, so that's why I will leave the site right here. You can use the Wayback Machine to find it. I would recommend you watch another video and then go do that because YouTube's gonna think I'm making you leave the platform and that's not good for business. That all said, this game looks pretty fleshed out. It's more than a tool and apparently was supported until like 2017, way after the Nintendo DS online services went badonk. I just don't know how useful this game actually was. It clearly was intended for the kids to play around with, since the in-car GPS is still active throughout, and the story of Mii is even shown looking at the road during the quizzes, which I think is a nice little detail. Maybe the purpose was letting kids in on finding things around town so they can help their parents without being intrusive, like there are functions here to find the food place, for example. On an unrelated note, I'm unsure if these quizzing Miis are just sprites or actually animated since they don't lip sync like they do in Tomodachi Collection, they just pop. But you know, looking at it, the Realm of Darkness is a lot nicer than being lost without GPS, huh? Okay, so I think this is the very bottom of the realm, judging by the massive hole to nothingness that looms below my feet. This is not a hole to nothingness, is it? This must be the oath I made.
We made a deal.
You're right, we did. I let myself forget what I already knew since now you arrived at my door. I remember the promise I made, and I know I'm here because of it.
You promised me almost a year ago, and look at us. We're right where we started. Wasn't it you said you'd be ready by now, accomplishing those goals we put before us?
It was. I made those promises and failed, but you deserve no apology. You can't blame me for what has happened, for as much as it pains both of us. I've done due diligence now. I've covered all of the Mii games on Wii, didn't I? Wasn't that our oath?
Of course, but you were too late. We were supposed to find greatness. We were supposed to make this year ours. Leave everybody in the dust. And I know that our failure is nothing but your fault.
It's not.
But it is. You had the time for half a year. And what did you do with it? Waste it. Trash it on concepts you only thought would get you far. Just like you've done these last 2 years.
Thought? Just thought? You are surely mistaken. And you know as well as I what my intentions have been. Remember the freedom we seek? Freedom to make what we want and not break to the pressure of a numerical value that we put all our hopes into? I will continue to carry the full weight of making these deliberate mistakes.
Not enough.
I am aware of that.
Then why don't you let me consume you? I am part of that achievement that hounds you, born from your own success and your wishes for more. Just give in. Take the easy road.
But I will not, friend. My goals are clear and my means to get there are those I choose. This is my path. Don't just see you can't hurt me anymore now that I've done what had to be done.
That's preposterous. Regardless of what you do, you've failed.
But that doesn't mean you can continue to have power over me. You don't know me, I own you. I see what's going on here. If it's a fight you want, it's a fight you get. Every game, eh? Well then, let's finish this. Beyond the shadow of a doubt, every Wii Mii game I am currently aware of. That was the oath, and this, the end. Tetris Axis. It's just Tetris, but your Mii shows up to dance in the bottom screen, and that's about it. It seems like it's just a properly coded Tetris too. I could get a T-spin going, and that's it for this game. There's variety in it, but this video is about the Miis and not about the Tetris game. Just know that they show up, though I am completely unsure if they are actually obligatory. Wii U browser. Does this count? The Wii U has a browser. Leave it idle for too long and your console's Mii shows up to mess around. It's charming, unnecessary, but it also could count, so it's here and it may do. Yakuman Wii, Mahjong, things in Japanese I can't be bothered to learn. It's Mahjong, I don't know how to play it, but you technically play as your Mii. There's this cool retro looking screen and I'm pretty sure that you'd be able to play against other Miis if you're not playing against CPU.
On a further note, there's more Yakuman games on Wii U and 3DS, so I guess I might as well mention those too. They're nothing special, just the exact same thing. It's just that Yakuman is a really popular franchise in Japan, I guess.
Hideyuku's Healthy Mojang DSi, like Yakuman, but it's on the DS instead. Has the Tomodachi Collection Mii editor.
Also, yeah, Yakuman? He's not a dude, that's just a Mahjong term. I'm super disappointed to learn this information.
Big Brain Academy Wii. It's a game where you do quizzes and supposedly learn, though it's never been really useful to me. They at least made it fun to do brain activities. But I'm much better off with a puzzle game like Picross 2D. Seems as engaging but more logical than critical. In this game, you don't play as your Miis, they just occasionally show up at different moments like on these high quality Newgrounds hallways and they are your save file icon. They don't do much either, just kind of wander and look pretty. For some reason though, they are required to play the game, hence why it's here. In fact, I'm gonna go over a few other games that require them but don't use them as default playable characters. FIFA 8 and 9, Mario Kart Wii, and WiiWare Uno. A World of Keflings on the Wii U. It's a re-release game with Miis on tops. I didn't bother to talk about this one because it's not really anything interesting. Pokemon Rumble Rush. I already mentioned this, but this is a defunct mobile game. Regardless, it's the same as Pokemon Rumble World, but without charm. Most criticisms apply here too, and your Mii isn't as prevalent to the game structure, it's just there in the background and that's about it.
I'll make an aside here and also say Mii channels don't count for this video. However, if you do want me to cover all the Mii channels in a video, be sure to tell me in the comments, capiche? I'd like to do the video, but I need to know there's support for it, because otherwise, I get like 5 views.
Special mention! Go Vacation does allow you to play as Miis, but they are not the main playable character, hence why they are not taking too much attention here. I'm bringing this one up because it's like the most popular, but so many other games apply for this category. My own didn't include this, and you shouldn't care much about it. But let's see. Other major games that let you play as Miis include Mario Kart Tour, Mario Kart 8, Disney Magical World 1 and 2, the Active Life games, Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing Transformed, Star Fox Guard, Party Fun Pirate WiiWare, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games games. We love golf, Wii Ski and Snowboard, those are 2 games, Bomberman Blast, and these are just the bigger ones that might be part of my oath, just in case. With this final swing, I bring you demise, even if losing the promise attached to you hurts my very soul. So that's how I killed my inner demons in the realm of darkness, became a being of light, and did a pretty cool and interesting video. So you're gonna have to join the line oath I made when I was 11 about reaching 10 million subs. If oath to enjoyment of the ice cream I drop right away, and oath to review all of the JBL films on the 1 million subscriber special can wait, believe me bro, so can you. Oh, what the heck? Why is there a cartridge in my food? Oh, crud. That was pretty good, did you see it? I beat up a concept. Now I'm gonna go get a refill for this ramen. Anyways, thanks for watching this Halloween special that totally did come out in Halloween and not in the middle of December.